Developmental and psychological theories. Psychosexual theories. Steiais, oral, anal, follit, latency, genital. The stages of psychosexual development is a theory proposed by Sigmund Freud, which suggests that personality develops through a series of stages during childhood. Each stage is associated with pleasure centered on different erogenous zones of the body. If a child experiences a conflict during any of these stages and does not resolve it, Freud believed that it could affect their personality and behavior in adulthood. The key stages are oral, anal, phallic, latency, and genital. Here's a breakdown of these stages, including key concepts, important details, and examples to help you understand them better. Key concepts. 1. Psychosexual stages. Freud proposed that personality development happens through 5 distinct stages, each with a focus on a different part of the body that provides pleasure. These stages affect psychological growth and personality traits. 2. Érogène zone. Each stage involves specific areas of the body that are sensitive and play a role in a child's development. These zones are where pleasure is focused during that stage. 3. Fixation. If conflicts arise during any stage and are not resolved, individuals may become fixated on that stage. This fixation can influence their behavior and personality as adults. The 5 stages. 1. Oral stage. Focus. The mouth is the primary erogenous zone. Description. During this stage, infants derive pleasure from oral activities such as sucking, biting, and chewing. These activities are essential for feeding and comfort. Potential fixations. If needs are not adequately met, adults may develop issues like dependency, aggression, or habits such as smoking or overeating. Example, a baby who is breastfed may feel secure and develop trust, while a baby who is weaned too early or experiences breastfeeding conflicts may become overly dependent or aggressive later in life. 2. Anal stage. Focus. The anus becomes the central focus of pleasure. Description. During potty training, children learn to control bowel movements. This stage is about gaining independence and control over bodily functions. Potential fixations. If a child experiences too much pressure or too little control during toilet training, they may become anal retentive or anal expulsive. Example, a child who is praised for being clean during potty training may develop a sense of orderliness, while a child who is punished may struggle with control and organization as an adult. 3. Phallic stage. Focus. The genitals become the main focus of pleasure. Description. Children begin to notice the differences between sexes and experience the Oedipus complex or the Electra complex. Potential fixations. Fixation at this stage can lead to issues with sexual identity and relationships. Example, a boy who overcomes his Oedipus complex may grow up confident about his masculinity, while unresolved feelings may lead to struggles in adult relationships. 4. Latency stage. Focus. Sexual feelings are repressed and dormant. Description. During this stage, children focus on developing skills, social relationships, and intellectual pursuits. Sexual feelings are less apparent, and children often engage in same-sex friendships. Potential fixations. Issues from earlier stages might manifest in social or skill-related difficulties. Example, a child who has successfully navigated earlier stages will likely develop friendships, learn new skills, and cultivate hobbies, while a child with unresolved conflicts may struggle with socialization. 5. Genital stage. Focus. Mature sexual intimacy. Description. As teenagers enter puberty, the focus returns to the genitals, and the goal is to develop healthy sexual relationships with others. The person should integrate previous experiences into a balanced identity. Potential fixations. Adults who have resolved earlier conflicts are likely to have stable relationships, while those with unresolved issues may experience difficulties. Example, a young adult forming healthy romantic relationships and intimacy while being comfortable with themselves likely had a balanced development through earlier stages. Conclusion. In summary, Freud's psychosexual stages of development, oral, anal, phallic, latency, and genital, each focus on different parts of the body that provide pleasure and influence personality formation. Successful navigation through these stages is key to developing a well-adjusted adult personality, while fixations resulting from unresolved conflicts can lead to difficulties later in life. Understanding these stages is important for grasping fundamental concepts in psychology and can help prepare you for the CPC exam by providing insight into developmental theories and their implications for behavior and personality. Let's explore the stages of psychosexual development, a concept introduced by Sigmund Freud, a famous psychologist. Freud suggested that our personalities develop through a series of stages during childhood, and how we navigate these stages can influence our behavior as adults. Here's a breakdown of the key concepts, important details, and examples to help you understand these stages clearly. Key concepts. 1. Overview of Freud's theory. Definition. Freud proposed that children go through 5 stages of development, each characterized by different challenges and pleasures. How successfully a child resolves conflicts at each stage can impact their adult personality. Focus on pleasure. Each stage focuses on a specific area of the body that provides pleasure, and the conflicts that arise can shape behavior and personality traits. 2. The 5 stages. 1. Oral stage. The primary focus is on the mouth. Babies gain pleasure through sucking and biting, which is important for feeding. 2. Anal stage. The focus shifts to the anus. Children gain pleasure from controlling their bowel movements. This stage is related to toilet training. 3. Phallic stage. The focus moves to the genitals. Children become aware of their bodies and develop feelings for the opposite sex parent. 4. Latency stage. During this stage, sexual feelings are suppressed as children focus on developing social skills, friendship, and learning. 5. Genital stage. The focus returns to the genitals and mature sexual relationships develop. Individuals seek to balance love, work, and relationships. Important details. 1. Oral stage. Key conflict, weaning. Outcome. If a child has a positive experience during this stage, they may develop traits of trust and comfort. However, if weaning is too harsh, the child may become overly dependent or develop habits like smoking or overeating in adulthood. 2. Anal stage. Key conflict, toilet training. Outcome. Success during this stage leads to feelings of competence and control. If toilet training is strict or harsh, children may develop an anal retentive personality, characterized by orderliness and stubbornness, or an anal expulsive personality, characterized by messiness and lack of self-control. 3. Phallic stage. Key conflict. Children begin to identify with their same-sex parent while having feelings for the opposite sex parent. Outcome. Successfully navigating this stage can lead to a mature understanding of gender roles and a healthy sense of self. Failure may create confusion about gender identity or relationships in the future. 4. Latency stage. Key characteristics. Sexual feelings are dormant as children focus on developing skills, friendships, and practicing social interaction. Outcome. This stage is important for developing communication, collaboration, and social skills. A lack of confidence or difficulties in friendships can lead to social issues later in life. 5. Genital stage. Key focus, developing mature, sexual relationships. Outcome. This stage marks the potential for healthy sexual relationships and a desire for love and connection, along with a balance between work and interpersonal relationships. Successful navigation leads to the ability to love and be loved. Difficulties can result in problems with intimacy. Examples illustrating Freud's stages. 1. Example of the oral stage. A baby who is fed regularly and comforted during feeding will likely develop trust and a sense of comfort later in life. In contrast, an infant who experiences neglect may grow up feeling insecure or anxious. 2. Example of the anal stage. A child who experiences gentle and encouraging toilet training may feel a sense of accomplishment and control. If training is harsh, however, they might grow up to be overly organized or conversely disorganized. 3. Example of the phallic stage. A 4-year-old boy who, during this stage, may exhibit jealousy toward his father while seeking attention from his mother. Successfully navigating this complex leads to a better understanding of relationships with both genders in adulthood. 4. Example of the latency stage. During latency, a child might form strong friendships, participate in sports, or develop interests and hobbies. This helps build confidence and social skills that are essential for adulthood. 5. Example of the genital stage. An adolescent begins dating, forming healthy relationships, and balancing school or work with personal life. Successful navigation will help them maintain these relationships and responsibilities as adults. Conclusion. Freud's stages of psychosexual development provide a framework for understanding how childhood experiences can shape adult personality and behavior. Each stage presents unique challenges and focuses on different areas of pleasure and conflict, influencing emotional growth and social skills. Understanding these stages can be beneficial for anyone studying psychology, counseling, or human behavior, especially as you prepare for the CPC exam and explore your future career options. Oedipus-Electra complex. Let's explore the Oedipus and Electra complexes, which are important concepts in psychology introduced by Sigmund Freud. These ideas relate to a child's feelings towards their parents during a specific stage of development. Understanding these complexes can help you grasp some influences on personality development. Here's a breakdown of key concepts, important details, and examples to make these ideas clear. Key concepts. 1. What are the Oedipus and Electra complexes? Oedipus complex. Named after a character in Greek mythology, the Oedipus complex refers to a boy's feelings of desire for his mother and jealousy towards his father. This complex typically occurs during the phallic stage of psychosexual development, which is around ages 3 to 6 years. Electra complex. This term was developed later and refers to a girl's feelings of desire for her father and jealousy towards her mother. Like the Oedipus complex, it occurs during the phallic stage. 2. Developmental background. Both complexes arise as children become aware of their bodies and start to discover their gender identity. During the phallic stage, children develop feelings towards their parents that reflect their understanding of sex roles and family relationships. Important details. 1. Oedipus complex. Struggles with emotions. Boys may experience what Freud described as love and attachment to their mothers, while viewing their fathers as rivals for attention and affection. They may feel a mix of desire and jealousy. Fear of castration. According to Freud, boys also experience castration anxiety, where they fear that their father might punish them for their feelings towards their mother. This anxiety influences boys to identify more closely with their fathers and adopt masculine traits. 2. Electra complex. Struggles with emotions. Girls experience desire for their fathers and competition with their mothers. Freud suggested that girls feel a sense of envy for not having a penis, which he referred to as penis envy. Resolution of feelings. To resolve the Electra complex, girls may focus on identifying with their mothers and developing femininity while still desiring closeness with their fathers. 3. Impact on adult relationships. Freud believed that unresolved feelings during these complexes could impact adult relationships and behaviors. For example, a boy with unresolved Oedipal feelings might struggle with relationships with women as an adult, while girls with unresolved Electra feelings might have difficulties forming secure attachments to men. Examples illustrating the Oedipus and Electra complexes. 1. Example of the Oedipus complex. A young boy named Tommy feels very close to his mother and enjoys spending time with her. He notices that his mother gives his father more attention, which makes him feel jealous. As a result, Tommy might start acting out or competing with his father for his mother's affection. Over time, he resolves these feelings by identifying with his father and learning to navigate his emotions. 2. Example of the Electra complex. A girl named Lily develops a strong attachment to her father and enjoys their time together. At the same time, she feels competitive with her mother, seeking her father's attention. Lily may express jealousy when her mother spends time with her father. As she grows, she begins to understand that her mother is also an important figure in her life, helping her work through these emotions. 3. Impact on adult relationships. An adult who had unresolved Oedipal feelings might find themselves drawn to partners who remind them of their mother or struggle with commitment. In contrast, someone with unresolved Electra issues may have difficulty trusting men and might seek relationships that mimic their feelings of rivalry with their mother. Conclusion. The Oedipus and Electra complexes are concepts that describe emotional conflicts experienced by children during the phallic stage of development. These complexes focus on a child's feelings towards their parents and how these feelings can affect their adult relationships and personality. Understanding these theories can provide insights into family dynamics and psychological development, which is valuable as you study for the CPC exam and explore your interests in psychology and counseling. ID, ego, superego. Let's explore the concepts of the ID, ego, and superego, which are key elements of Sigmund Freud's theory of personality. These three components work together to shape our thoughts, behaviors, and emotions. Understanding these terms will help you grasp how Freud viewed human behavior and personality development. Here's a breakdown of the key concepts, important details, and examples to make these ideas clear. Key concepts. 1. What are the ID, ego, and superego? ID. The ID is the most primitive part of our personality. It includes our basic instincts and urges, such as hunger, thirst, and sexual desire. The ID operates on the pleasure principle, meaning it seeks immediate satisfaction without considering consequences or reality. Ego. The ego is the rational part of our personality that develops to mediate between the desires of the ID and the realities of the outside world. It operates on the reality principle, meaning it tries to satisfy the ID's desires in a socially acceptable way. The ego functions to plan, think, and make decisions. Superego. The superego represents our moral conscience and societal values. It develops as we grow and learn from our parents and culture. It strives for perfection and judges our actions, making us feel proud when we meet its standards and guilty when we do not. Important details. 1. The ID. Characteristics. The ID is present from birth and drives us to fulfill our basic needs and desires. It does not understand logic or reality. It simply wants what it wants. Example. A crying baby demanding food showcases the ID. The baby is focused only on immediate gratification without considering appropriate behavior or timing. 2. The ego. Characteristics. The ego develops during early childhood as we learn to navigate the world. It is responsible for making decisions that satisfy the ID's desires, but in a realistic and socially appropriate way. Example. If you're hungry during class, the ID might want to eat a snack right away. The ego, however, understands that you need to wait until recess to eat your snack without disrupting the class. 3. The superego. Characteristics. The superego is shaped by parental guidance, societal rules, and moral standards. It serves as our internal judge, guiding our behavior according to what we've learned is right and wrong. Example. If you consider cheating on a test, the ID may rationalize that it will help you get a better grade. However, the superego will likely make you feel guilty about cheating and encourage you to study instead. The interaction between the ID, ego, and superego. 1. Balancing conflict. The ID, ego, and superego can often be in conflict with one another. The ID wants immediate gratification. The superego demands high moral standards, and the ego must find a balance between the two while considering reality. For example, if you're out with friends and see a dessert that you really want, but you know you're on a diet, your ego will help you decide whether to indulge or stick to your plan. 2. Examples of interactions. Situation. You're offered a piece of cake at a party. ID response. I want that cake now. It looks delicious. Ego response. Let's wait until after dinner to have some cake so we can enjoy it more. Superego response. We shouldn't eat too much cake because it's not healthy. In this situation, your ego mediates between the desires of the ID and the moral concerns of the superego to make a balanced decision. Conclusion. The ID, ego, and superego are essential components of Freud's theory of personality that describe how different parts of our mind interact and influence our behavior. The ID seeks immediate pleasure, the superego enforces moral standards, and the ego balances the two in a realistic way. Understanding these concepts helps provide insight into human behavior and decision-making. This knowledge will be useful as you prepare for the CPC exam and explore your interests in psychology and counseling. Pleasure principle, reality principle. Let's explore the concepts of the pleasure principle and the reality principle, which are important ideas in Sigmund Freud's theory of personality. These principles help explain how we seek satisfaction and navigate the challenges of life. Understanding these principles will not only enhance your knowledge of psychology, but also help you prepare for the CPC exam. Here's a breakdown of the key concepts, important details, and examples to make these ideas clear. Key concepts. 1. Pleasure principle. Definition. The pleasure principle is the driving force of the ID, which is the part of our personality that seeks immediate satisfaction of desires and needs. The ID operates on this principle to fulfill basic urges, such as hunger, thirst, and sexual desires, without considering the consequences. Goal. The main goal of the pleasure principle is to experience pleasure and avoid pain. It wants instant gratification, regardless of the situation. 2. Reality principle. Definition. The reality principle is associated with the ego, which is the rational part of our personality. The ego develops to mediate between the desires of the ID and the demands of the real world. Goal. The reality principle aims to satisfy the ID's desires in realistic and socially acceptable ways. It takes into account the limitations and consequences of actions, delaying gratification when necessary. Important details. 1. The pleasure principle. Characteristics. The pleasure principle is impulsive and driven by instinct. It does not consider rules, social norms, or realities. It simply wants to fulfill desires as quickly as possible. Example. Imagine a child who is hungry and sees candy. The child will likely cry and beg for candy right away without thinking about whether it's the right time or the long-term consequences. 2. The reality principle. Characteristics. The reality principle represents logic, reasoning, and patience. It understands that some desires cannot be immediately satisfied and that waiting or compromising is often necessary. Example. Consider a teenager who wants to buy a new video game. Instead of just spending all their allowance right away, they think about saving money for a few weeks to buy the game on sale. This shows the ability to delay gratification and plan ahead. The interaction between the pleasure principle and the reality principle. 1. Mediation. The ego constantly mediates between the ID's desires and the reality of the world by using the reality principle. It helps find a balance between wanting immediate pleasure and understanding the importance of making wise choices. For example, if you're at a party and really want to eat all the snacks available, your ego may remind you to limit your snacks because you have dinner planned later. 2. Real-life application. Consider a situation where you're studying for a big exam. The pleasure principle might tempt you to stop studying and go hang out with friends or watch TV instead. The reality principle, however, would remind you that studying is important to do well on the exam and that you can reward yourself with fun time after achieving your study goals. Summary examples. Pleasure principle. An example would be a toddler throwing a tantrum because they want a toy right away. The child doesn't care about being in a store or how their parents feel. They just want that toy now. Reality principle. A responsible adult saving money for a vacation instead of spending it on immediate pleasures like dining out illustrates the reality principle. They understand that saving will bring greater enjoyment later. Conclusion. The pleasure principle and the reality principle are crucial concepts in Freud's theory that explain how we balance our immediate desires with the realities of the world around us. The pleasure principle drives us to seek instant satisfaction, while the reality principle encourages us to think logically, delay gratification, and make responsible decisions. Understanding these principles will deepen your insight into human behavior and help you succeed in your studies for the CPC exam. Let's explore the concepts of the life drive and the death drive, which are important ideas introduced by Sigmund Freud in his theory of psychosexual development and human behavior. These concepts explain the motivations behind our actions and behaviors in life. Here's a breakdown of the key concepts, important details, and examples to help you understand these ideas clearly. Key concepts. 1. Life drive. Definition. Eros is also known as the life drive. It represents our instinctual drives for survival, pleasure, and reproduction. This drive motivates us to seek happiness, connect with others, and maintain life. Focus. Eros encompasses everything that promotes life, love, creativity, and the desire for fulfillment. It encourages us to form relationships, take care of ourselves and others, and pursue activities that bring joy. 2. Death drive. Definition: Thanatos is known as the death drive. It represents the instinctual drives that lead toward aggression, self-destruction, and ultimately, the return to an inorganic state. This drive encompasses feelings of hostility and the desire to escape from the pressures of life. Focus. Thanatos manifests in behaviors that can harm oneself or others, representing a contrasting force to Eros. It drives feelings of anger and destructiveness, sometimes leading people to act against their own interests. Important details. 1. Life drive. Characteristics. Eros is associated with positive emotions like love, joy, and creativity. It promotes social interactions, bonding, and the pursuit of goals that enhance life. Examples: the joy a person feels when they fall in love, the excitement of starting a new job, or the pleasure of enjoying a tasty meal can all be seen as expressions of the life drive. 2. Death drive. Characteristics. Thanatos is often linked with negative feelings like frustration, anger, and despair. It can manifest in self-destructive behavior or aggression towards others. Examples: someone engaging in risky behaviors like reckless driving or substance abuse might be acting on the death drive. Additionally, significant feelings of sadness or desire to withdraw from relationships can also indicate the influence of Thanatos. The interaction between Eros and Thanatos. 1. Conflict. Freud believed that Eros and Thanatos are constantly in conflict within us. The life drive strives for connection and fulfillment, while the death drive represents tendencies that can lead to harm or self-sabotage. For example, a person may feel a strong desire to pursue a healthy, loving relationship, but at the same time, they might experience anxiety that causes them to withdraw and push people away. 2. Real-life applications. Consider a situation where a student is studying hard to achieve good grades while also feeling overwhelmed and anxious, which lead to procrastination or avoiding studying altogether. This conflict can affect their ability to reach their goals. Summary examples. 1. Example of life drive. A person volunteers at a local animal shelter, finding fulfillment and joy in helping others and forming connections with both the animals and fellow volunteers. This behavior is driven by the life drive. 2. Example of death drive. An individual who continuously engages in negative self-talk or sabotages their chances for success in relationships or careers might be exhibiting behaviors related to the death drive. 3. Example of interaction. A talented musician who enjoys sharing their music may struggle with stage fright and feelings of inadequacy, causing them to avoid performances. Balancing these drives is essential for personal growth and success. Conclusion. The life drive and death drive are essential concepts in Freud's theory that help explain the conflicting motivations behind human behavior. Eros drives us toward life, love, and creativity, while Thanatos represents the darker side of human instincts, including aggression and self-destruction. Understanding these concepts provides insight into the complexities of human emotions and behaviors, which can be beneficial as you study for the CPC exam and pursue interests in psychology and counseling. Fixation. Let's explore the concept of fixation, which is an important idea in Sigmund Freud's theory of psychosexual development. Fixation refers to a situation where an individual becomes stuck at a particular stage of development, affecting their personality and behavior in adulthood. Here's a breakdown of the key concepts, important details, and examples to help you understand this topic clearly. Key concepts. 1. What is fixation? Definition. Fixation occurs when an individual experiences unresolved conflicts or issues during one of Freud's psychosexual stages of development. As a result, they may become stuck at that stage and continue to exhibit behaviors associated with that period later in life. Impact on personality. Freud believed that fixations can lead to specific personality traits and behaviors that are linked to the stage where the fixation occurred. 2. Psychosexual stages. Freud identified 5 stages of psychosexual development. 1. Oral stage. Focus on oral activities such as sucking and biting. 2. Anal stage. Focus on bowel and bladder control. 3. Phallic stage. Focus on the genitals and developing a sense of identity. 4. Latency stage. Sexual feelings are dormant, focusing on social skills and friendships. 5. Genital stage. Mature sexual relationships and balancing love and work. Important details. 1. Causes of fixation. Unresolved conflicts. If a person has experienced too much frustration or indulgence during a particular stage, they may develop a fixation. For example, if a toddler is overly punished during toilet training, they might become fixated at the anal stage. Overindulgence or neglect. Excessive pampering or neglect can lead to fixation. For example, a child who is overly indulged in the oral stage may develop oral fixation as an adult. 2. Consequences of fixation. Fixation can manifest in various ways based on the stage. It can lead to behaviors or personality traits that reflect unresolved conflict from that stage. For example, oral fixation. An adult may become overly dependent on others, engage in habits like smoking, or have issues with eating. Anal fixation. An individual might become overly organized and control-oriented or excessively messy and disorganized. 1. Example of oral fixation. A person who had a difficult weaning process might develop an oral fixation. As an adult, they may have habits like chewing gum, smoking, or continuously seeking reassurance and support from others. 2. Example of anal fixation. Someone who experienced extremely strict toilet training may show anal retentive traits as an adult, such as being very organized, meticulous, and slightly controlling. Conversely, a person who is excessively permissive during potty training may be messy, disorganized, and struggle with authority. 3. Example of phallic fixation. An adult who struggles with their identity and often seeks validation from romantic partners might display behaviors rooted in unresolved conflict from the phallic stage, such as issues with jealousy or difficulty forming healthy relationships. Conclusion. Fixation is a key concept in Freud's theory of psychosexual development, indicating a scenario where an individual becomes stuck at a particular developmental stage due to unresolved conflicts or issues. Fixation can lead to specific personality traits and behaviors that reflect the challenges faced during that stage. Understanding fixation can provide insight into certain behaviors and personality patterns, which will be beneficial as you prepare for the CPC exam and delve deeper into psychology and counseling. Manifest and latent content of dreams, oral, and anal character. Psychosocial theories. 8 stages of psychosocial development. Let's explore the 8 stages of psychosocial development, a theory developed by psychologist Erik Erikson. This theory explains how people grow and develop throughout their lives based on facing and overcoming specific challenges or conflicts. Each stage presents a critical issue that individuals must resolve to develop healthy personalities and relationships. Here's a clear breakdown of the key concepts, important details, and examples for each stage. Key concepts. 1. Psychosocial development. Definition. Erikson's theory focuses on the social and emotional aspects of human development, highlighting how our interactions with others shape our identity and personality. Lifespan approach. Erikson proposed that development continues throughout life, from infancy to old age, and each stage builds on the previous one. The 8 stages of psychosocial development. 1. Stage 1. Trust versus mistrust. Conflict. Babies learn to trust their caregivers to provide for their basic needs, like food, comfort, and security. Positive outcome. If caregivers are consistent and nurturing, children develop a sense of trust. Example. A baby who is fed and comforted regularly will start to feel safe and secure in their environment. Stage 2. Autonomy versus shame and doubt. Conflict. Toddlers begin to assert their independence and make choices, such as potty training and dressing themselves. Positive outcome. Encouragement during this stage leads to a sense of autonomy. Example, a child who is praised for using the toilet independently will feel confident, while a child who is harshly criticized may feel shame and doubt their abilities. 3. Stage 3. Initiative versus guilt. Conflict. Children start to initiate activities and take control of their environment through play and social interactions. Positive outcome. When supported, children develop initiative and leadership skills. Example, a child who starts a game and encourages others to join feels a sense of initiative. If they're punished for being too bossy, they may feel guilt. 4. Stage 4. Industry versus inferiority. Conflict. Children strive to master new skills and gain approval from peers and adults. They compare themselves to others. Positive outcome. Success leads to a sense of competence in industry. Example, a student who excels in school and receives praise feels competent, while a child who struggles academically may feel inferior. 5. Stage 5. Identity versus role confusion. Conflict. Teenagers explore different identities and roles to figure out who they are and what they believe in. Positive outcome. Successfully navigating this stage leads to a strong sense of personal identity. Example, a teenager who experiments with different hobbies and friends while developing personal values will have a clearer identity. Conversely, one who feels lost and unsure may experience role confusion. 6. Stage 6. Intimacy versus isolation. Conflict. Young adults seek deep relationships and emotional connections with others, balancing personal needs with the needs of friends and partners. Positive outcome. Loving, committed relationships lead to intimacy. Example, a young adult who successfully forms a close bond with a partner experiences intimacy, while someone who avoids close relationships may feel lonely and isolated. 7. Stage 7. Generativity versus stagnation. Conflict. Individuals focus on contributing to society and helping the next generation. This may involve parenting, work, or community involvement. Positive outcome. Feeling productive and involved in meaningful activities leads to generativity. Example, a parent who actively engages in their children's lives and mentors younger colleagues experiences generativity. In contrast, someone stuck in a personal rut may feel stagnant. 8. Stage 8. Integrity versus despair. Conflict. Older adults reflect on their lives and assess whether they feel fulfilled and satisfied or regretful and unaccomplished. Positive outcome. A sense of integrity comes from accepting one's life experiences and feeling proud of accomplishments. Example, an elderly person who feels they have led a meaningful life and made a positive impact experiences integrity, whereas someone who dwells on missed opportunities may feel despair. Conclusion. Erikson's 8 stages of psychosocial development illustrate how individuals face unique challenges throughout life, and successfully resolving these conflicts fosters healthy personal and social development. Each stage plays a crucial role in shaping our identity, relationships, and overall sense of well-being. By understanding these stages, you can gain valuable insights into human behavior and development, which is helpful for your studies in psychology and counseling, especially as you prepare for the CPC exam. Identity crisis. Let's explore the concept of an identity crisis, which is an important idea in psychology, particularly in understanding how individuals navigate their sense of self and personal identity. An identity crisis can occur at various points in life, but it is often most associated with adolescence. Here's a breakdown of key concepts, important details, and examples to help you understand this topic clearly. Key concepts. 1. Definition of identity crisis. An identity crisis is a period of uncertainty and confusion in which an individual questions their sense of self, their beliefs, values, and the roles they play in life. It often involves a search for personal identity and purpose. 2. Theoretical background. This concept was notably discussed by psychologist Erik Erikson, who proposed that identity development is a key aspect of the 5th stage of his psychosocial development theory that occurs during adolescence. Important details. 1. Causes of identity crisis. Developmental changes. Adolescence is a time when individuals undergo significant physical, emotional, and social changes. As teenagers seek independence, they may question their previous beliefs and values. Life transitions. Major life changes, such as moving to a new place, starting a new school, or experiencing a family crisis, can trigger an identity crisis. Cultural and social factors. Influences such as cultural background, peer pressure, and societal expectations can lead individuals to reevaluate their identity and choices. 2. Signs of an identity crisis. Feelings of confusion or uncertainty about one's self-image or roles. Experiencing anxiety or feelings of inadequacy regarding personal decisions. Engaging in behaviors such as experimenting with different lifestyles, appearances, or interests. Seeking validation or approval from others to define oneself. 3. Effects of identity crisis. Short-term effects. Individuals may feel lost, anxious, or depressed. They might withdraw from friends and family, struggle in relationships, or perform poorly in school or work. Long-term effects. Successfully navigating an identity crisis can lead to a stronger sense of self, greater clarity about life goals, and improved emotional well-being. Conversely, unresolved identity issues can result in persistent feelings of insecurity or role confusion into adulthood. Examples illustrating identity crisis. 1. Example of an adolescent identity crisis. A high school student named Sarah is struggling with her identity as she transitions from middle school to high school. She feels pressure to fit in with different groups, intellectuals, athletes, and artists. As she experiments with different styles of clothing, friends, and extracurriculars, she feels confused about who she truly is. This period of exploration and confusion represents her identity crisis. 2. Example of an adult identity crisis. A 30-year-old man, John, has been working in the same job for several years, but suddenly feels unfulfilled and questions his career choices. He begins to assess his values, like whether to prioritize career success over family life. This reassessment and the search for new purpose indicate that John is experiencing an identity crisis as he tries to determine his path moving forward. 3. Case of life transitions. A college student named Maria moves to a new city for school. She finds herself away from her family and childhood friends and feels unsure about her identity without their support. She may start questioning her beliefs, interests, and what defines her as a person. This change can spark an identity crisis as she works to establish her new identity independent of her past. Conclusion. An identity crisis is a common experience that involves questioning and evaluating one's sense of self during significant developmental stages or life changes. Understanding the causes, symptoms, and effects of an identity crisis can help individuals navigate their feelings of confusion and emerge with a stronger sense of identity. This knowledge is beneficial not only for your personal understanding, but also crucial as you prepare for the CPC exam and pursue a career in psychology or counseling. Development of ego identity. Sure, let's discuss the development of ego identity, which is a fundamental concept in psychology that focuses on how individuals form their sense of self and identity throughout their lives. Here's a simplified explanation of key concepts, important details, and examples to help you understand this topic better. Key concepts. 1. Ego identity. Definition. Ego identity refers to the understanding of oneself as a distinct individual with unique thoughts, feelings, values, and beliefs. It represents how we view ourselves and our place in the world. Importance. Developing a strong ego identity is essential for healthy emotional and social functioning. It helps us make decisions, form relationships, and interact with society. 2. Erik Erikson's theory. Erikson, a prominent psychologist, is best known for his theory of psychosocial development, which outlines 8 stages that individuals go through as they grow. Each stage includes a conflict that must be resolved to develop a strong ego identity. Important details. 1. Stages of development. The development of ego identity is especially emphasized in Erikson's 5th stage, identity versus role confusion, which occurs during adolescence. During this stage, individuals explore different roles, beliefs, and values in order to form their personal identity. 2. Key influences on ego identity development. Family. Support and encouragement from parents help adolescents feel secure in exploring their identity. A nurturing environment fosters experimentation with different roles and interests. Peers, friendships, and social interactions influence identity development. Peers provide feedback and validation that can help shape an individual's sense of self. Culture and society. Cultural background, community values, and societal expectations play significant roles in how individuals view themselves and the identity they adopt. 3. Exploration and commitment. Exploration. This involves actively trying out different identities, such as experimenting with different hobbies, social groups, and belief systems. This process helps individuals understand what resonates with their true self. Commitment. After exploring, individuals make personal choices about their identities and commit to certain values, beliefs, and goals. This commitment solidifies their ego identity. Examples illustrating the development of ego identity. 1. Example of a teenager. Scenario. A 15-year-old girl named Emily is exploring different interests, including soccer, art, and dance. She experiments with various styles of clothing and tries to make new friends in different social groups. Development. Through these experiences, Emily learns what she enjoys and what aligns with her values, helping her to establish a clearer sense of identity as an individual apart from her family. 2. Example of identity crisis. Scenario. A high school senior named Alex feels torn between pursuing a career in engineering or following his passion for music. Development. Alex struggles with confusion about his identity. While he loves music, he worries about disappointing his family. This internal conflict prompts him to seek advice from friends and mentors, helping him clarify his values and make an informed decision. As he resolves this crisis, he becomes more confident in his identity as a musician. 3. Cultural influence on identity. Scenario. A college student named Maya comes from a multicultural background. She feels proud of her heritage, but also faces pressure to assimilate into the dominant culture at her university. Development. Maya explores different aspects of her cultural identity by joining cultural clubs and participating in events. Through this exploration, she develops a deeper connection to her roots while also embracing her individuality and understanding her broader identity in society. Conclusion. The development of ego identity is a crucial process in which individuals shape their sense of self throughout different life stages. Through exploration and commitment, influenced by family, peers, and cultural factors, people form a strong identity that guides their decisions and relationships. Understanding this process is valuable for personal growth and is especially significant for your studies in psychology and counseling as you prepare for the CPC exam. Psychosocial development. Sure, let's explore psychosocial development, a key concept in psychology that focuses on how people develop emotionally and socially throughout their lives. The term is closely associated with the work of psychologist Erik Erikson, who outlined a theory that describes the stages individuals go through from infancy to old age. Here's a breakdown of key concepts, important details, and examples related to psychosocial development to help you understand it better. Key concepts. 1. Definition of psychosocial development. Psychosocial development refers to the way our social interactions and experiences shape our emotional and psychological growth. It involves both our sense of self and our relationships with others. 2. Erik Erikson's theory. Erikson proposed that development occurs in 8 stages, each characterized by a specific conflict or challenge that individuals must resolve to achieve healthy development. Successfully navigating these challenges leads to a stronger sense of identity and well-being. The 8 stages of psychosocial development. 1. Stage 1. Trust versus mistrust. Conflict. Infants learn to trust their caregivers to meet their needs. If caregivers are reliable, infants develop trust. Example. A baby consistently fed and comforted will feel secure and develop trust in others. Stage 2. Autonomy versus shame and doubt. Conflict. Toddlers learn to assert their independence by making choices. Example. A child praised for using the toilet independently feels confident, while harsh criticism may result in feelings of shame. 3. Stage 3. Initiative versus guilt. Conflict. Children begin to take the initiative and play in social activities. They explore their environment and take charge of their actions. Example, a child who organizes a play activity feels a sense of initiative. If they're scolded for being too bossy, they may feel guilt. 4. Stage 4. Industry versus inferiority. Conflict. Children work to master new skills and gain approval from peers and adults. They compare themselves to others. Example, a student praised for good grades feels competent, while one who struggles may feel inferior. 5. Stage 5. Identity versus role confusion. Conflict. Teenagers explore their identity and try to understand who they are. They ask questions about their beliefs, values, and roles. Example, a teenager trying out different friendships and hobbies works toward developing a strong sense of self, while someone unsure may experience confusion about their identity. 6. Stage 6. Intimacy versus isolation. Conflict. Young adults seek intimate relationships and connections with others, balancing their needs with those of partners and friends. Example, someone who successfully forms close relationships feels a sense of intimacy. Someone who avoids close connections may feel isolated. 7. Stage 7. Generativity versus stagnation. Conflict. Adults strive to contribute to society and care for future generations. This may involve parenting or mentoring. Example, a parent actively involved in their child's life experiences generativity, while someone feeling unproductive may experience stagnation. 8. Stage 8. Integrity versus despair. Conflict. Older adults reflect on their lives and assess whether they feel fulfilled or regretful about their decisions and accomplishments. Example, an elder content with their life experiences feels integrity, while someone with many regrets may feel despair. Important details. 1. Lifespan perspective. Psychosocial development occurs throughout the lifespan, meaning each stage builds on the previous one. Challenges at one stage can impact future development and personal growth. 2. Role of relationships. Relationships with family, peers, and society significantly influence an individual's psychological development. Supportive and nurturing relationships foster healthy growth, while negative or stressful interactions can hinder development. 3. Cultural influence. Cultural background and societal norms play crucial roles in shaping an individual's values, beliefs, and identity, affecting how they navigate each stage of psychosocial development. Conclusion. Psychosocial development is a vital concept that explains how our emotional and social growth occurs through various stages of life. Erik Erikson's theory highlights the importance of resolving conflicts at each stage to achieve a healthy identity and a sense of belonging. Understanding these stages and their implications can help you gain insight into your own development and the development of others, which is particularly useful as you study for the CPC exam and pursue a career in psychology or counseling. Cognitive development theory. 4 stages: sensoromotor, pre-operational, concrete operations, formal operations. Let's explore the 4 stages of cognitive development proposed by psychologist Jean Piaget. These stages describe how children develop their thinking and understanding about the world as they grow up. Each stage represents a different way of thinking and understanding the world around them. Here's a breakdown of the key concepts, important details, and examples for each stage to help you understand this topic clearly. Key concepts. 1. Cognitive development. Definition. Cognitive development refers to how children think, learn, and understand the world as they grow. Piaget believed that children progress through specific stages as they gain knowledge and skills. Importance. Understanding these stages helps us appreciate how children's thinking evolves and how they interpret their experiences. 2. The 4 stages of cognitive development. Piaget identified 4 main stages through which children pass as they develop their cognitive abilities. 1. Sensoromotor stage. 2. Pre-operational stage. 3. Concrete operation stage. 4. Formal operation stage. The 4 stages. 1. Stage 1. Sensoromotor. Overview. In this stage, infants learn about the world through their senses and motor actions. They explore their environment and develop basic ideas about how things work. Key concept: object permanence. This is the understanding that objects continue to exist even when they cannot be seen or heard. Babies develop this understanding around 8 to 12 months. Example: when a toy is hidden under a blanket, a baby who has developed object permanence will know that the toy still exists and may try to find it. 2. Stage 2. Pre-operational. Overview. During this stage, children begin to use language and think symbolically. Their thought processes are still intuitive and egocentric, meaning they have difficulty seeing things from others' perspectives. Key concept: egocentrism. This is when children can only see things from their own viewpoint and struggle to understand other people's perspectives. Example: a child may cover their eyes and believe that if they can't see someone, that person can't see them, reflecting egocentric thinking. They might also display animism, where they believe that inanimate objects have feelings and thoughts. 3. Stage 3. Concrete operations. Overview. In this stage, children gain a better understanding of logical thinking and can perform operations mentally rather than just physically. They start to think more logically about concrete events, but may struggle with abstract concepts. Key concept: conservation. This is the understanding that certain properties remain the same even when their form changes. Children learn to understand that changing the shape of an object doesn't change its quantity. Example: if water from a tall, narrow glass is poured into a short, wide glass, a child who has developed the concept of conservation will understand that the amount of water is still the same, even though the shape of the container has changed. 4. Stage 4. Formal operations. Overview. In this stage, individuals develop the ability to think abstractly, reason logically, and use deductive reasoning. They can form hypotheses and consider possibilities beyond the concrete. Key concept: abstract thinking. This means being able to think about concepts that are not tied to concrete objects or experiences, such as morality, freedom, and love. Example: a teenager may consider philosophical questions like, what is the meaning of life? Or how can we achieve world peace? They can use logical reasoning to solve complex math problems or scientific questions. Important details. 1. Sequential progression. Piaget believed that children move through these stages in a fixed order, and each stage builds on the knowledge gained in the previous stage. They cannot skip stages. Each stage lays the foundation for the next. 2. Active learning. Children learn actively through exploration, experimentation, and interaction with their environment. They construct their understanding of the world by engaging with it. 3. Cultural influences. While Piaget's theory provides a general framework for cognitive development, it's important to recognize that cultural factors can influence how children develop cognitively. Different cultures may emphasize various skills and ways of thinking. Conclusion. Jean Piaget's 4 stages of cognitive development: sensorimotor, pre-operational, concrete operations, and formal operations, outline how children's thinking evolves from infancy to adolescence. Each stage represents a different way of understanding the world, reflecting increasing complexity and abstraction. Understanding these stages helps educators, parents, and counselors support children in their growth and development as they navigate their learning experiences. This knowledge can also be beneficial as you prepare for the CPC exam and explore the field of psychology. Object permanence. Let's explore the concept of object permanence, which is an important milestone in cognitive development, particularly in infants. This concept is associated with the work of psychologist Jean Piaget. Here's a breakdown of key concepts, important details, and examples to help you understand object permanence clearly. Key concepts. 1. Definition of object permanence. Object permanence. This is the understanding that objects continue to exist even when they cannot be seen, heard, or touched. In other words, if something is out of sight, it doesn't mean it's gone, it still exists. 2. Developmental milestone. Object permanence is a crucial cognitive milestone that infants typically develop between 4 to 7 months of age. Before this, babies do not understand that objects remain in the world when they're not visible. Important details. 1. Piaget's research. Jean Piaget studied object permanence as part of his theory of cognitive development. He observed that infants would lose interest in objects that were hidden from view, indicating they believed the objects had disappeared. According to Piaget, object permanence develops through two key stages. Substage 1. Infants react to the objects in their environment, but do not understand that they continue to exist once hidden. For example, if you show a baby a toy and then hide it under a cloth, the baby might not search for it because they believe it is gone. Substage 2. Infants begin to search for partially hidden objects, showing the beginnings of understanding that objects still exist, even when out of sight. 2. Importance of object permanence. Understanding object permanence is foundational for other cognitive developments, such as memory, problem solving, and the ability to anticipate future events. It helps children build their understanding of the world and reinforces concepts like trust and safety. 3. Implications for caregivers. Recognizing when a child develops object permanence can help caregivers engage in appropriate play and learning activities. For example, playing Peek-Boo is a simple game that supports the understanding of object permanence and promotes a sense of security in children. Examples illustrating object permanence. 1. Example of a toy under a blanket. If you place a toy under a blanket while a baby is watching, they might initially lose interest if they can't see the toy. However, once they begin to understand object permanence, they may start to lift the blanket to find the toy, indicating they recognize that it still exists even though it's hidden. 2. Peek-Boo game. The game of Peek-Boo is a fun example that illustrates object permanence. When you cover your face with your hands, a young child may think you actually disappeared. As they grow and develop the understanding of object permanence, they will start to anticipate your reappearance because they understand that you still exist even when they can't see you. 3. Finding a favorite blanket. A toddler may have a favorite blanket that they always look for when it is hidden. If the blanket is draped over a chair, the child may go directly to the chair to retrieve it, knowing it is still there, reflecting their understanding of object permanence. Conclusion. Object permanence is a critical aspect of cognitive development in infants, reflecting their growing understanding that objects remain in existence even when they are out of sight. This concept helps lay the foundation for more advanced cognitive skills, such as memory and problem solving. Understanding object permanence is valuable for parents, caregivers, and educators, as it informs how they can engage with and support children's development during these early years. This knowledge is also helpful as you prepare for the CPC exam and explore various developmental concepts in psychology. Egocentrism. Let's explore the concept of egocentrism, which is a key idea in developmental psychology, particularly in understanding how children think and perceive the world. Egocentrism refers to a limited perspective that can greatly influence interactions and relationships. Here's a breakdown of key concepts, important details, and examples to help you understand this topic clearly. Key concepts. 1. Definition of egocentrism. Egocentrism. This is the tendency for individuals, especially young children, to see the world only from their own perspective and to have difficulty understanding that others may have different thoughts, feelings, or viewpoints. 2. Developmental context. Egocentrism is most commonly discussed in the context of Jean Piaget's theory of cognitive development. Piaget identified egocentrism as a prominent characteristic during the preoperational stage of development. Important details. 1. Characteristics of egocentrism. Limited perspective. Children in the preoperational stage are often unable to take the perspective of others. They may believe that everyone thinks and feels the same way they do. Self-centered thinking. Egocentric individuals often focus on their own experiences and emotions without considering how others might be affected by their actions or views. 2. Stages of egocentrism. Egocentrism tends to decrease as children grow older. As they move into the concrete operational stage, their ability to understand other perspectives improves. They begin to develop empathy and realize that other people can have different thoughts and feelings. 3. Influence of egocentrism on behavior. Egocentrism can influence how children interact with peers and adults. For example, they might struggle with sharing or cooperating since they primarily focus on their own needs and desires. Examples illustrating egocentrism. 1. Example in play. Imagine a group of young children playing together. One child, Emily, decides to play with a toy without telling her friends. When they want to play too, Emily might be unwilling to share because she believes everyone should understand that she wants the toy for herself. In this situation, Emily's egocentric viewpoint prevents her from considering her friends' feelings or desires. 2. Example of perspective taking. Picture two children, Alex and Sam, looking at a picture book together. Alex points to a picture of a dog and exclaims that it is his favorite animal. If Sam prefers cats and is upset, Alex might not understand why Sam feels different. He simply cannot recognize that Sam has a different opinion. This lack of understanding reflects egocentrism. 3. Example in communication. When a young child tells a story, they often focus on their own experiences without providing context or details that others might need to understand the story. For example, a child may say, "Then I went to the park," without mentioning if they invited others or who was with them, assuming everyone already knows. This highlights how children at this stage may communicate from only their viewpoint. Conclusion. Egocentrism is a crucial concept in understanding how children develop their thinking and social interactions. It refers to the tendency to view the world only from one's own perspective, impacting how they relate to others and navigate social situations. As children grow older, they begin to overcome egocentric thinking, developing empathy and a more nuanced understanding of other people's views. Recognizing egocentrism is important for educators, parents, and